My car key rests beside my cold teacup. The silence in this room is getting far too loud. I grab the metal ring and slowly stand up, leaving the apartment in the heavy cloud. I slip into the driver's seat and turn the dial. The low bass hums against the steering wheel. Haven't felt like myself in a long while, just searching for a feeling I can actually feel. The yellow streetlight beams sweep through the glass. The city sleeps while my thoughts race in circles fast. No destination set, just asphalt ahead. Unsent text still floating in my head. Cruising through the 3 a.m. air, watching red tail lights fade away. I roll the window down and let the cool wind tear through every word I couldn't bring myself to say. The baseline breeze, my heartbeat slows down, driving through the quiet edge of town. Subway stations locked up under concrete stairs. Neon convenience signs glow soft and blue. I pass the river bridge where we used to stare, wondering if late nights ever pull at you. My reflection in the rearview looks so worn out, taking a sip from a lukewarm paper cup. I'm learning how to live without the lingering doubt, just letting the engine smoke wash it all up. Cruising through the 3 a.m. air, watching red tail lights fade away. I roll the window down and let the cool wind tear through every word I couldn't bring myself to say. The baseline breeze, my heartbeat slows down, driving through the quiet edge of town. Sometimes you have to press the pedal just to breathe. Leave the cramped apartment in the heavy room. It's not about escaping what I left beneath. It's finding peace inside this temporary gloom. The engine whispers secrets to the open lane, washing off the residue of daily pain. The key is warm inside my hand again, parked back down beneath the amber light. I take a deep breath before I step back in, ready for tomorrow after one slow night. A faded motorcycle hum echoes off the brick alley, and you're sitting on the curb with your coat zipped to your chin. I know that look on your face, the kind where you've been grinding all day, and your phone keeps buzzing with calls you don't wanna take. Hop in, toss your heavy bag onto the backseat floorboard. We don't need a destination or a map tonight. The city lights look like blur, yellow dots through the front glass. Just drop your shoulders for once, I'll keep my hands on the wheel. The tollbooth's gate goes up without a sound. We hit the inner ring expressway, smooth and white. You can pick the music, pick whatever track you want. Even if it's quiet and slow, I won't ask you why. Roll the window down just a little bit, let the cold night air wash over your tired face. We're just driving through the dark, nobody needs us right now. Leave your heavy thoughts on the shoulder of the road. You don't gotta explain a single thing to me. We'll just run through the empty tunnels till the city sleeps it off. Remember back when we had nothing to lose but our free time. Now we're 20-something, counting stress like mileage on the dash. You're staring out at the river bridges glowing red and blue, biting your lip like you're holding back a whole year of words. Take a breath, man, you're doing alright, even when the job feels stuck and the rent feels way too high. I'm not gonna drop any cheap advice on you tonight. I'm just gonna cruise while you watch the dark skyline. Roll the window down just a little bit, let the cold night air wash over your tired face. We're just driving through the dark, nobody needs us right now. Leave your heavy thoughts on the shoulder of us like steady ticks on a metronome. Yellow, orange, start, then back to glowing yellow again. If you wanna talk, I'm listening to every word. If you wanna sleep, push the seat back and close your eyes. I'll take the long loop around the river highway, buying us another 40 minutes before tomorrow shows up. Tires humming on the pavement, soft and low. You're already leaning your head against the glass. Rest up, my friend, I'll wake you when we're back at your front door. A sudden memory cuts through the quiet, sharper than the turn signal beat. The leather steering wheel feels cool beneath my thumb as the engine settles into a low hum. Orange street lights sweep across the glasses, steady 3-second intervals. The city sleeps beneath the midnight haze, leaving the inner ring road wide open. In the side mirror, the towers of Uito shrink into tiny clusters of red aircraft lights. I shift smooth into fifth gear, watching the tachometer needle hover right above 2,000. The heater blows faint, warm air, carrying the scent of old paper and rain. The radio plays static at low volume, a white noise backdrop to the empty lanes. We pass through the unmanned toll gate, with green LED arrows pointing to the dark. No speedometer panic tonight, just the rhythm and click of joints on the asphalt bridge. Sodium lamps trace a highway arc, framing the long stretch ahead. The Ham River reflects dark obsidian beneath the heavy steel frames of Maple Bridge. No destination pinned on the map, only the steady hiss of rubber on damp pavement. Window crack 2 inches down, letting the cold night mist settle on my sleeve. The digital clock on the dash flips to 3 in the morning without making a sound. The lone yellow cab flashes its hazard lights on the slip road before vanishing into a tunnel. Fine droplets form on the windshield, sliding sideways under the rush of cold wind. One stroke, the wiper blade clears a wet circle of blurred city lights. Your shadow sits quietly in the passenger seat, eyes fixed on the passing concrete barriers. The sub bass under the floorboard vibrates slow, pulsing like a slow and steady pulse. Overpass shadows glide across our laps like frames running through a vintage projector. We glide past the blinking yellow traffic light that shines for no one else. No heavy conversation required when the road noise speaks for both of us. The tires splash through a shallow puddle, throwing up fine sprays against the wheel well. Sodium lamps trace a highway arc, framing the long stretch ahead. The Ham River reflects dark obsidian beneath the heavy steel frames of Maple Bridge. No destination pinned on the map, only the steady hiss of rubber on damp pavement. Window crack 2 inches down, the cold night mist settle on my sleeve. Red tail lights fade down the long exit ramp, reflective signs glow green and fall behind us one by one. The engine idles softly at the last quiet junction. The night holds its breath and the car moves on. Why does this city look smaller when everybody stops talking? Green light shifts to amber, and I don't even try to hit the brakes. My left wrist rests on the wheel, engine humming at 2,000 RPMs of quiet panic. I wonder if my mother still checks the front door lock twice before bed, or if you deleted my number or just left it sitting in your block list like a no-code. Tollgate camera flashes once, registering a license plate registered to someone who doesn't know where he is going. Cold then air smells like old dust in last October's road trip down to the coast. Lane 3, lane 2, drifting across the dotted lines without a blinker. I keep glancing in the rear view for a pair of headlights that isn't there. Late 20s turning into early 30s, and my hands still get cold when the bass drops low. Everything outside is moving 80 miles an hour, but the thoughts inside are playing in slow motion. Overpass shadows cut across my lap like black stripes on concrete. I am driving away from a room where the lights were already turned off. Stream of random thoughts running down the windshield like dirty rain. Nothing hurts enough to pull over, nothing feels good enough to stay. Just the tires clicking on the pavement, seems counting down the midnight. Did I switch off the kitchen tap? It doesn't matter, the utility bill is set to auto pay anyway. My phone buzzes against the plastic console, probably a late battery warning over bank text about low balance. I remember the exact pitch of your voice when you told me I overthink every simple ending. Maybe you were right, maybe the ending was just a convenience store stop where we bought bitter iced coffee and ran out of things to say. Tunnel entrance culling up fast, sodium yellow bolts flicking across the hood like steady pulses. I hold my breath through the mountain cutout like I used to when I was 10 years old. Did that trick ever actually save anyone, or was I just running out of oxygen for no reason. Lane 1 now, 10 kilometers past the outer boundary line. The river on my right looks like poured ink, thick and completely blind. Years of collecting paper receipts in the glove box that I will never turn in for tax refunds. Everything is quiet now except the way my chest tightens when the song changes. Overpast shadows cut across my lap like black stripes on concrete. I am driving away from a room where the lights were already turned off. Stream of random thoughts running down the windshield like dirty rain. Nothing hurts enough to pull over, nothing feels good enough to stay. Just the tires clicking on the pavement seams counting down the midnight. Left foot idle on the footrest, right shoe pressing steady on the pedal. Who decided that growing up just means sitting in the moving box until the low fuel lamp blows orange? I could take the next exit ramp and loop back around. I could keep pressing south until the sunrise hits the bumper. Neither choice changes the fact that I left my favorite sweater hanging on your chair. 0 miles to the next exit. Turn signal clicking rhythmically in the empty cabin. Tick, 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 no answer to the question I started with 5 miles back. Just side beam reflectors on the steel guardrail, fading into the dark. Heavy leather sinks under my posture as the engine hums softly. This driver's seat absorbs the quiet gravity I carried all through the workday. I merge onto the empty bypass, watching red lights flicker like distant lanterns. If the smoke was stretched backward through time, it would lead straight to your bedroom. You were sitting on a squeaky desk chair, arms crossed, staring at the wall, terrified that the choices you made back then would ruin the rest of your life. Now the cool midnight wind rushes through the 2-inch crack in my window. I am steering smoothly through the quiet hours that used to paralyze your heart. If I could send a message through the taillights burning red, I would tell you that the heavy weight inside your chest clears out. We didn't fix every mistake, but we built a steady home. Keep breathing through the dark, little version of my past. You are gonna make it here intact. Remember how you thought turning 25 meant running out of chances? You sat frozen in that cramped wooden chair, holding back tears over a broken promise. I wish I could reach through the years and pull your shoulders back. These highway lanterns sweep across my dashboard like a slow rhythmic pulse. Each glowing pulse marking another mile between your fear and my peace. Now the cool midnight wind rushes through the 2-inch crack in my window. I am steering smoothly through the quiet hours that used to paralyze your heart. If I could send a message through the taillights burning red, I would tell you that the heavy weight inside your chest clears out. We didn't fix every mistake, but we built a steady home. Keep breathing through the dark, little version of my past. You are gonna make it here intact. There were no shortcuts on this long detour, and the failures you are weeping over right now are just the back roads that brought me to this quiet stretch of highway. So put down your head on that desk and rest. The future isn't as cold as you think. The sea still holds my weight, but the heavy feeling is gone. Just keep the wheels turning, kid. I am waiting for you at the end of the line. Pale indigo neon leaks through the windshield glass, filtering slow while the city shadows pass. You stepped in at the corner by the convenience store, a total stranger shaking off the rain outside my door. You set your wet umbrella down and asked me where I'm bound. I told you I was driving just to lose the heavy sound. You leaned your head against the glass inside, said everybody carries something they try to hide. I tapped the steering wheel, turned down the lo-fi beat. Two lonely souls taking up a quiet street. We never asked each other's real names tonight, just drifting under yellow fading traffic light. You talk about a job you left behind on our late night drive. Sodium orange glow paints your silhouette in shadows. You point out of the window at the distant dark meadows. You ask me if I think people ever really change. I say I hope so, though the feeling feels so strange. You laugh a little soft, pull your collar up high, saying the city looks softer under midnight sky. The meter isn't running, we are off of the grid, unpacking all the secrets that we usually hid. At the next red light, you turn your face to me, saying thanks for the lift and the quiet company. We never asked each other's real names tonight, just drifting under yellow fading traffic light. You talked about a job you left behind in May. I spoke about the words I was too scared to say. No promises to keep when the morning arrives. Just a stranger in the sea. On our late night drives, amber turning green as you step to the curb. A temporary peace that no one can disturb. You walk into the night, I put the car in drive. Two strangers keeping quiet hopes alive. You told me yesterday that I looked tired. I didn't answer then, just checked my watch. Now it's past 2 a.m. on the outer ring road. A plastic cup of iced coffee sweats against the console. The yellow battery warning icon flickers once on the dash. A single receipt from a convenience store lies face down. 1700 one foot make gum, I didn't shoot. The highway lane marking split the asphalt in steady intervals. An empty delivery truck accelerates 3 lanes over. The wind noise hits the driver's side glass in soft pulses. Everything feels small enough to notice tonight. Counting every tiny detail while the city sleeps. A burnout street lamp on the off-ramp curve. The red glow from a high-rise construction crane. Your words from yesterday still hanging in the cabin. I keep driving just to keep the heater blowing warm. An old parking ticket tucked behind the sun visor. The smell of stale laundry detergent on my left sleeve. A green traffic light turns amber for nobody at all. My thumb rests on the worn seam of the steering wheel. A stray dog trots past the closed shutter of a car wash. The digital clock jumps from midnight to one without a sound. You said I never talk about what actually bothers me. Maybe you were right, maybe I just prefer the empty lane. The wipers clear a thin smudge of night mist on the glass. The toll booth worker doesn't look up as I pass. Just a short electronic chime from the automatic pass reader. Counting every tiny detail while the city sleeps. A burnout street lamp on the off-ramp curve. The red glow from a high-rise construction crane. Your words from yesterday still hanging in the cabin. I keep driving just to keep the heater blowing warm. A silver sedan overtakes me on the right. The radio hums low underneath the engine revs. You told me yesterday that I look tired. I guess you knew before I did. Corslet sweater sleeves catch on the gear shift. Every loose thread carries the scent of 5 winters ago. The city lights blur in the long red ribbons along the river. I adjust the heater, but the cold still sits in the empty seat. You used to pull that exact cuff down over your knuckles, complaining about the draft coming through the window frame. Now it is just me in the hum of 6 cylinders, heading nowhere specific while the digital clock hits 3. The turn signal clicks in a steady rhythm, matching the quiet thud inside my chest. I glance at the empty leather beside me, and suddenly the past takes the wheel. We were flying down the northern highway, laughing at the radio, static through the rain. Now every street light acts like a projector, playing back scenes I thought I threw away. late night air. I passed the gas station where we bought terrible coffee and argued over which playlist to put on next. You had your feet up on the dashboard, shoes off, leaving a tiny smudge on the glass that stayed for months. I wiped it off last summer, but I still see the outline whenever the midnight fog rolls across the windshield. It is strange how a phrase sleeve can pull back a whole year without asking for permission or giving a warning. Was it really that long ago or just yesterday? The white lane lines roll beneath the tires like film strips. I could turn around at the next interchange and head home, but I would rather stay out here where you still exist in the dark. Flying down the northern highway, laughing at the radio, static through the rain. Now every streetlight acts like a projector, playing back scenes I thought I threw away. I keep driving just to keep the ghost beside me. Yeah, tracing old memories, sewn into this late night air. Cars swirl against my skin, the highway melts into silence. Just one more mile before I let you go again. 347 flashes on the dashboard as I drift through the quiet outer ring road. The blue LED numbers burn into my eyes, and I start picturing a day that hasn't come yet. We will be 35, living past the toll gates. No more scrambling for a check every month. Just the calm weight of time settling in our hands. I see you sitting right beside me then. Gray threads woven through your untamed hair. No heavy heart, no city noise to drown out. Just two coffee cups cooling in the holder. Someday this midnight drive will be a memory of the start when we were broken, chasing ghosts inside a borrowed car. I picture us driving home to somewhere we actually own, with the smooth steering wheel and nowhere left to run. We will look at these empty streets and smile, knowing we made it through the longest mile. I trace an imaginary ring on your left hand, while real rain spots the windshield glass tonight. Right now my bank account is looking like a joke, and my shoulders ache from 12 hours on my feet. But in the future scene we bought that place out west, or maybe just a quiet room where the ocean breeze hits. You fall asleep against the passenger door, breathing slow, safe, not worried anymore. Someday this midnight drive will be a memory of the start when we were broken, chasing ghosts inside a borrowed car. I picture us driving home to somewhere we actually own, with the smooth steering wheel and nowhere left to run. We will look at these empty streets and smile, knowing we made it through the longest mile. Is it foolish to project a whole life at night, to build a fortress out of yellow highway lines? Maybe, but this vision keeps my hands steady now, giving every long shift a purpose somehow. We are climbing out of the dark, 1 mile at a time. 347 turns to 48. The future is a long road, but I can wait. Keep sleeping softly while I drive us through. Someday that scene comes true. A silver mint box sits quiet on my wooden table. I pick it up, shake it once, then put it back down. My phone is on silent, 20 unread messages from work. I grab my light jacket off the back of the chair. The elevator door slide open in the cold night air. My sneakers click softly across the underground floor. I unlock the sedan, step inside and shut out the world. Nobody's waiting for me at home anyway. The engine turns over, humming low in the dark. I set the navigation to nowhere in particular. Just need the road to move faster than my thoughts. Quarter tank remaining, orange light on the screen. Cruising past empty lanes where nobody can see. I turn the bass up to drown out my own voice. Maybe driving all night was always my only choice. The orange street lights bleed into the windshield pane. Just quiet, endless lane. Passing through the toll gate, yellow lights flickering above. I think about what I lost this year, what I call love. It all feels distant when I hit 80 miles an hour. The city skyline looks like shadows in a dark tower. My left hand rests lazy on the leather steering ring. I stopped expecting tomorrow to fix anything. It's peaceful when the world sleeps and leaves me alone. I press the pedal down and turn off my phone. Nobody's waiting for me at home anyway. The engine turns over, humming low in the dark. I set the navigation to nowhere in particular. Just need the road to move faster than my thoughts. Quarter tank remaining, orange light on the screen. Cruising past empty lanes where nobody can see. I turn the bass up to drown out my own voice. Maybe driving all night was always my only choice. The orange street lights bleed into the windshield pane. Just me, the wheel, and this quiet endless lane. Is it running away if I come back at dawn, or am I just drifting until the heavy feeling is gone? The cold air from the van hits my knuckles and face. I don't need answers tonight, I just need a little space. Quarter tank left, orange light blinking on the dash. The highway stretches out into the dark. I guess I'll just keep driving. Our drainage grates clatter down below as a late night bus turns towards the depot. You haven't said 3 words since we crossed the bridge. Just watching green highway signs blur in the dark. I know that quiet look, you've been holding it in all week. Working past midnight for people who barely know your name. So I picked you up without asking where you wanted to go. Just turned the heater up and took the outer loop. The city feels different when nobody's trying to sell you something. No yellow traffic lights forcing us to hurry through. If your shoulders are heavy tonight, just let them drop. I will handle steering wheel while you breathe. We don't need a destination tonight, my friend. Just the street light, shadows tracing patterns on your window. Leave those heavy thoughts down on the rubber floor mat. We can keep moving until the horizon turns to slate. You don't have to explain why you feel this exhausted. I am just driving us through the quiet side of town. Remember back when 25 felt like some distant finish line. Now here we are in our 30s trying to keep from hardening. You lean your temple against the cool passenger glass, watching distant tail lights blur into red dots. You do not need to play the strong person in the seat. If you want to shout, the tire noise on the asphalt will drown it out. If you want to sleep, I will turn the subwoofers down low. The city feels different when nobody's trying to sell you something. No yellow traffic lights forcing us to hurry through. If your shoulders are heavy tonight, just let them drop. I will handle the steering wheel while you breathe. We don't need a destination tonight, my friend. Just the street light, shadows tracing patterns on your window. Leave those heavy thoughts down on the rubber floor mat. We can keep moving until the horizon turns to slate. You don't have to explain why you feel this exhausted. I am just driving us through the quiet side of town. We spent so many years trying to make everyone else proud, forgetting how it feels to just sit still without a score. But right now it is only 4 tires on cool concrete and a friend who remembers who you were before the grind. Take a slow breath in, let the cool air fill your lungs. The next exit is 4 miles ahead. We can pass right by it if you want. Just close your eyes, I have the wheel tonight. We will take the longest way back. Yeah, warm cinnamon tea and wet asphalt. Oh, hang thick inside a silver hatchback now. He shifts into drive. The city lights flicker in muted pastel, reflecting off puddle-drenched concrete below. Neither one asks where the highway will end. They just let the chill lo-fi beat slowly flow. Two shadows suspended between 2 and 3, escaping the noise that they left in the room. He glances sideways to check if she is safe as orange street lamps pierce the midnight gloom. Parallel lanes lead them into the dark, where nobody calls and no promises break. They ride through the stillness of Olympic Expressway, leaving behind every honest mistake. No words are spoken, just tires on wet ground. Finding a peace in the rhythm they found. She rolls down the window an inch from the frame, letting the damp river breeze cool her cheek. He turns up the bass so the silence won't sting, protecting the quiet they both came to seek. Her phone screen lights up with an unread alert. She flips her face down on the velvet lion seat. The speedometer hovers at 65 miles, passing the quiet suburban retreat. Two shadows suspended between 2 and 3, escaping the noise that they left in the room. He glances sideways to check if she is safe as orange street lamps pierce the midnight gloom. Parallel lanes lead them into the dark, when nobody calls and no promises break. They ride through the stillness of Olympic Expressway, leaving behind every honest mistake. No words are spoken, just tires on wet ground. Finding a peace in the rhythm they found. Sometimes a drive is not meant for arrival, just two tired souls in a temporary space. He watches the toll gate fade in the rear mirror, while she lets the wind slow her heartbeats fast race. The city proceeds to a faint glowing thread, unspooling the heavy thoughts inside their head. The cinnamon fades to the cold morning mist. He pulls to the shoulder beside the long pier. 2 engine ticks linger before going still. Neither one asks why they landed right here. Still cabin air splits open when a sharp thought strikes without permission. Zero sound in the leather interior, just the quiet click of a turn signal. The wide lens pans from the gear shift, focusing slow on the long stretch ahead. Street lights cast amber lines across the hood, written stripes painted in 60 frames per second. Glass reflects the high-rise silhouette, shadows gliding across my muted collarbone. The engine breathes a gentle low bass line, filtering through the cold night atmosphere. Sweeping down the 6-lane empty Beltway, wide shadow speed catching yellow light leaks. The city stands still like a wide backdrop, while this black sedan cuts through the dark frame. No spoken words, just the tires humming soft, the cinematic drift into the midnight blue. Zoom in on the rain-dusted windshield glass, each tiny drop acting like a tiny prism, reflecting red brake lights from a distant truck. Soft bokeh circles blooming across the dark. The side mirror holds a vanishing bridge, suspension cables dropping back into shadow. One lone tollgate gate arm lifts up slow, a brief white glare flashes over my eyes. Pan up to the rear view mirror frame, holding the ghost of a silent conversation. The speed needle hovers at 95, a smooth steady tracking shot along the riverbank. Cold wind rolls through a 2-inch window crack, dispersing the lingering stillness in the air. Till I'm shrinking to the tunnel mouth, concrete walls echo the quiet exhaust curve. The screen dissolves into dark gray slate, final shot fading on the empty road ahead. What happens to the thoughts I never speak aloud? I ask the windshield as white highway lines dissolve into speed. My thumb taps a restless rhythm on the steering wheel ring. 10,000 unread mental notes from years I spent pleasing people. Did I turn off the stove, or am I just looking for a reason to turn back? 31 years old and my head is still a crowded subway car. Red tail lights ahead look like floating embers in deep dark water. The speedometer stays steady at 80. My mind keeps jumping from last year's quiet breakup to next month's rent. Maybe I am driving just to hear my own breathing clearly. Maybe the asphalt knows where my life is going better than I do. Late night expressway, floating through the dark. Head feels like a browser with 100 open tabs. Foot on the pedal, chasing little sparks, looking for a silence that I haven't never had. Tires on the pavement, bass inside my chest, bypassing the exit where I used to try and rest. Was it yesterday I decided I needed to rebuild everything? Or was it just a random thought waiting at a red traffic signal? Overhead signs flash green for the bypass, blue for the bridge. I passed both options without turning, caring nothing about arrival. Did you actually love me or did you just enjoy having an audience? That question pops up like a forgotten track on my midnight playlist. Cold AC air hits my face and dries out my tired eyes. I blink away a tear that isn't sadness, just overstimulated nerves. Speed camera flashes white for a fraction of a second. A momentary snapshot of a stranger lost inside his own head. Am I moving forward or just delaying my walk into an empty room? Changing lanes back and forth without giving the signal to anyone. My actual life is passing by right now, whether I pay attention or not. What happens to the thoughts I never speak aloud? Still no answer in the rearview mirror, just the low rumble of the tires beneath me. Just two hands loose upon the wheel, distant street lights fading out to gray. Yeah, deep buckets, it catches my slump. Less tired shoulders finally drop. Today I turn the ignition real slow, watching the digital gauge glow blue. Yeah, if you could see me right now, kid, holding this leather wheel at 2 a.m., you would ask if we ever made it or if we're still running from it. The seat cushion holds all my weight, a heavy anchor in a moving box. You used to panic when the lights turn red. You thought the world would end if you fell behind. Now I just coast through the silent street, wishing I could call your old room line. To the 19-year-old taking last trains home, you didn't ruin everything like you thought. The scars you worried over turned to stone, and peace was something that couldn't be bought. I'm driving through the midnight air for you, telling your memory we survived the dark. Stop holding your breath in the quiet room. We finally learned how to park. Yeah. Remember when you cried on the overpass, thinking your 20s were a broken promise? Look at us now, paying off the debt, buying decent coffee, staying honest. The bass hums low through the car floorboards. You thought success meant a big loud stage. Turns out it's just paying electric bills and turning a clean quiet page. The seat frame presses firm against my spine, reminding me I am grounded, safe and fine. You used to panic when the lights turn red. You thought the world would end if you fell behind. Now I just coast through the silent street, wishing I could call your old room line. To the 19-year-old taking last trains home, you didn't ruin everything like you thought. The scars you worried over turned to stone, and peace was something that couldn't be bought. I'm driving through the midnight air for you, telling your memory we survived the dark. Stop holding your breath in the quiet room. We finally learned how to park. I wish I could send a message back through time, tell you to sleep instead of pacing floors. You down the riverbank. The city lights look softer from this distance. I forgive you for every clumsy mistake and every stubborn, useless resistance. Rest easy, young ghost. The ride is smooth now. I will keep the engine running for us. We made it out somehow. Yeah, amber traffic signals wash across the dashboard glass. You pulled the door handle, sitting in my passenger seat by mistake. Smell the cool rain on your coat, holding an empty paper cup. You checked your phone screen, saw the wrong license plate and sighed. I'm sorry, you mutter, reaching for the handle to leave. I said it's fine, where were you headed anyway? You pointed at the dark river bridge ahead, said your phone battery died right when the app crashed. I shifted into drive, let the low bass line play. Two people who don't know each other's names drifting away. No names exchanged, just tires on the wet asphalt floor. You tell me why you quit your job 3 hours ago. I tell you why I haven't slept since last Tuesday. A temporary safe house on 4 spinning wheels. Just 5 miles of truth before you get it out and go. The green arrow turns, turning onto the outer ring road. You pass me a mint from a crushed silver foil pack. Is it always this quiet when you drive at night? You ask. I laugh softly, adjusting the heater so your hands can warm up. You talk about your mother's voice on the voicemail you dodged. I talk about the rent payment I delayed for a week. We laugh at how easy it is to speak to someone who doesn't stay. The highway lights stretch out like a glowing dotted line. You lean your head against the cool side window frame. I turn the volume down just enough to hear you breathe. 2 shadows passing through the same midnight lane. No names exchanged, just tires on the wet asphalt floor. You tell me why you quit your job 3 hours ago. I tell you why I haven't slept since last Tuesday. A temporary safe house on 4 spinning wheels. Just 5 miles of truth before you get out and go. At the brightly lit bus stop near the subway station stairs, you pull your backpack up and fix your jacket collar. Thanks for the ride, driver. Who isn't my driver? You say with a small smile. I tell you to stay warm and watch you walk into the dark. No contact numbers, no social media tags left behind. Just amber light fading in my rearview mirror. A stranger's secret lingering in the passenger seat air. I put my hands back on the steering wheel ring. Keep driving into the late night alone again. Yeah, rough ribbon border rubs against my wrist as I turn onto the bridge. The fabric is thin now, worn soft from years of holding on to things I should not keep. I pull the sleeve down, feeling the course weave under my thumb, and suddenly I am back in the tiny diner booth, 22 and numb. You were rubbing the frayed edges of my jacket while the coffee went cold, telling me secrets that felt way too heavy for us to hold. Now the tachometer is at 2,000 RPMs, and now I'm racing past empty bus stops, retracing old hems. The streetlights flicker in a steady, slow rhythm. Every yellow beam opening up in no vision. I reach for the heater, turning the dial to warm, trying to chase away the shadow of that sudden autumn storm. Late night drive, floating through the city haze, rewinding all the blurred lines from those younger days. I feel the rough weave beneath my hand, taking the long way home through a ghost town land. Just me, the quiet engine, and the way you used to look at me, trapped inside a thread of memory. Yeah. Crossing the river, the dark water reflects the red taillights ahead. I remember how you used to adjust the passenger vent, complaining about the draft instead of saying what was on your mind. We were both too proud back then, hiding behind cheap clothes and expensive defense mechanisms. I rolled roll down the glass, an inch cool night air hits my cheek. The fabric on the seat cushion feels cooler now than it did back then. I can still hear your laugh mixed with the FM radio static from 4 years ago. We thought we had everything figured out, but we were just driving in circles around the loop at 3 in the morning. It is strange how a texture brings it all back in a second. Not a photo on a phone, not a song on a playlist, just the feel of worn out cotton. I step on the gas pedal, feeling the car surge forward, leaving the ghost on the passenger side behind as I head toward the toll gate. The past stays in the rear view, but the fabric keeps the warmth. Late night drive, floating through the city haze, rewinding all the blurred lines from those younger days. I feel the rough weave beneath my hand, taking the long way home through a ghost town land. Just need a quiet engine and the way you used to look at me, trapped inside a thread of memory. Cabin steady pulse, just the road, the night, and me. 2:45 blinks on the clock, casting a soft blue halo across the dash. I close my eyes for a second, skipping time ahead into a distant forecast. Will I still be taking this same bypass when my 30s settle in my hair? Will you be sleeping in the passenger side, or will I be driving through empty air? I imagine a gray sedan, newer than this, cruising the Olympic Expressway. No urgent text left unanswered, no rent money stress lingering from yesterday. Will I cry to laugh, slower breathing, fewer things left to prove? The city skyline won't feel so heavy, just the background as we move. I picture your hand reaching over the console, pulling my jacket close, trading the panic of our 20s for the peace we wanted most. In that imagined future midnight under the quiet sodium beams, we aren't running away anymore, just living inside our old dreams. Driving slow through the late hour chill, no heavy baggage in the trunk, just a steady beat on the speaker, and two hearts no longer sunk. If we make it to that distant lane, I'll turn and smile at you, knowing every lost midnight back then was leading us straight through. 35 years old, maybe a small house waiting past the river bridge, no longer checking bank accounts at every toll gate on the ridge. You bring flashes once when the street lights hit the windshield glass. We talk about how fast those messy tear-stained years managed to pass. You whisper that you're tired, but you like the sound of the tires on wet street, a simple kind of happiness we never thought we lived to meet. We'll have quite a laugh, slower breathing, fewer things left to prove. The city skyline won't feel so heavy, just the background as we move. I picture your hand reaching over the console, pulling my jacket close, trading the panic of our 20s for the peace we wanted most. In that imagined future midnight under the quiet sodium beams, we aren't running away anymore, just living inside our old dreams. Driving slow through the late hour chill, no heavy baggage in the trunk, just a steady beat on the speaker, and two hearts no longer sunk. If we make it to that distant plane, I'll turn and smile at you, knowing every lost midnight back then was leading us straight through. Right now I'm alone in a rusty frame, paying off debts and breathing dust, building a bridge out of shadows and hoping time is something I can trust. But when I hold the steering wheel, I feel the warmth of that tomorrow, a future drive where we finally trade all our borrowed sorrow. 2:45 back in the present day, I put the car in drive and rolled away, heading toward that future night with you, just holding on until the dream comes true. This tiny brisky sitting on the kitchen glass table holds too much quiet weight tonight. My apartment feels like a box of shadows I am constantly trying to outrun. I pick it up, slide on the dark denim jacket and walk out into the cold hallway air. The elevator drops 4 floors while my mind stays trapped on the ceiling. Down in the garage, my wants a damn waste, like an old friend who knows all my secrets. The ignition turns over, vibrating under my heels, and I head toward the highway ramp. I turn the radio dial until it is just soft white noise. No voices, no calls, no texts I need to avoid. Just me and the steering wheel, counting distance and breath, leaving the weight of who I am supposed to be behind. Cruising under the muted streetlights along the northern bypass. Every green signal feels like permission to keep running forever. I do not need a map or reason to stay awake right now, just to steady on my tires on cold pavement, washing out my thoughts. Late night drive, fading into the dark blue skyline. The city lights shrink in my rearview mirror like scattered golden dust. 28 feels like a strange age where everyone else is building a home, and I am just looking for a stretch of road long enough to hear myself think. I roll down the driver's side window just 2 inches to let the sharp wind hit my neck. It clears the fog in my lungs, replacing stale room air with midnight frost. I wonder if you're sleeping right now or if your thoughts are racing too. I turn the radio down until it is just soft white noise. No voices, no calls, no texts I need to avoid. Just me and the steering wheel, counting distance and breath, leaving the weight of who I am supposed to be behind. Cruising under the muted streetlights along the northern bypass. Every green signal feels like permission to keep running forever. I do not need a map or reason to stay awake right now, just steady on my tires on cold pavement, washing out my thoughts. Late night drive, fading into the dark blue skyline. Maybe tomorrow I will go back to wearing that polite smile at my desk, answering emails like my life is moving on a perfect schedule. But for these 30 miles I do not owe anyone a single answer. I am just a shadow floating between 2 tall booths in the dark. Sign blinks in the distance. I pull over on the shoulder for a second. The engine idle is a heartbeat, still breathing, still moving forward. A hollow soda can rolls past the curb, scraping against the concrete in the quiet alley. You lean your head against the cool glass window, staring at the empty convenience store sign. I know the quiet look on your face, the same one you wore when the project fell through. You have been holding your breath all week, pretending the weight on your neck is just bad posture. So I turned the ignition without asking where you wanted to go, staring us onto the open lane. The city air tastes like cool asphalt and late night stillness. Your phone screen keeps blinking with messages you should not answer until morning. Turn it face down in the cup holder and let the screen go dark for a while. You don't have to explain anything tonight, just let the yellow streetlight slide across your forehead. We can take the outer ring road 3 more times until your chest feels a little lighter. Forget the quarterly evaluation, forget the rent, forget the version of yourself you promised at 25. Right now it is just 2 old friends cruising through a sleeping town with nowhere we need to arrive. Remember when we used to drink cheap coffee on the bench and complain about our future? Now we buy iced Americanos at midnight just to push through another 6 hours of overtime. You told me last week you feel like everyone else is speeding ahead while you were idling in neutral. But look at the river down there, running smooth under the steel bridge without making any noise. You are doing fine, my friend, even when you feel like you are losing the pace. You don't have to explain anything tonight, just let the yellow streetlight slide across your forehead. We can take the outer ring road 3 more times until your chest feels a little lighter. Forget the quarterly evaluation, forget the rent, forget the version of yourself you promised promised at 25. Right now it is just two old friends cruising through a sleeping town with nowhere we need to arrive. Roll down the glass an inch, let the sharp breeze kick the tiredness out of your lungs. I am not going to give you advice, you did not ask to hear or pretend I have it figured out. If you want to talk, I am listening, and if you want total quiet, I will keep both hands on the wheel. We have known each other since worn out sneakers, so do not bother hiding your heavy heart from me. A sweeping street cleaner hums 3 blocks behind us. Your eyes are getting heavy in the dark passenger seat. Close them if you need to, friend. I will keep driving until the horizon turns gray. Burnt eucalyptus and cold air drift of the cracked window as the dark sedan glides south. He keeps his left palm steady on the wheel while she stares at the blurred yellow toll gate signs. Neither of them has spoken a word since the apartment tower shrank into the distance. The dashboard display glows a dim neon blue, routing a journey with no set destination. He shifts into 5th gear just to feel the mechanical vibration beneath his shoes. She pulls her knees up toward her chest, wrapping her arms tight around the thick woven coat. Two young adults carrying the weight of an unsaid 30-something exhaustion. They are not running away from anything that could be reduced to simple conversation. The low frequency of the exhaust pipe smooths out the jagged edges of their day. A solitary red tail light half a mile ahead guides them deeper into the quiet. He drives until the city skyline shrinks into a thin line of glowing dots. She lets her fingertips trace the damp condensation forming on the side window. No promises or apologies are spoken in the shadow of this moving cabin. Just 30 miles of empty lane and 2 tired minds adjusting to the dark. The asphalt stretches smooth and steady beneath the midnight mist. At the unmanned gas station near exit 14, halogen lights cast a pale amber circle. He steps out into the crisp wind to grab 2 warm cans of milk coffee from the vending box. She watches his reflection in the side mirror, noticing how his shoulders drop an inch in the night air. They sit on the quiet hood for 10 minutes, listening to the faint rumble of a distant freight train. The stillness feels infinitely lighter than any heavy explanation they could construct. He tosses the empty aluminum cans away and restarts the engine without a sound. 2 young adults carrying the weight of an unsaid 30-something exhaustion. They are not running away from anything that could be reduced to simple conversation. The low frequency of the exhaust pipe smooths out the jagged edges of their day. A solitary red tail light half a mile ahead guides them deeper into the quiet. He drives until the city skyline shrinks into a thin line of glowing dots. She lets her fingertips trace the damp condensation forming on the side. Beneath the midnight mist. Sometimes a drive past midnight is not about finding a safe place to land. It is the brief sanctuary created in the space between yesterday and tomorrow. She reaches over gently to tilt the heat vent toward his cold fingers. He nods once without shifting his eyes from the lines painted on the road. Yeah. The speedometer needle rests motionless right on 80 kilometers per hour. Outside the glass of the damp sand of river water slowly replaces the city exhaust. He holds the wheel, she tilts her head back and the tires keep humming. Just another quiet lap around the sleeping ring road. An unspoken question breaks the stillness inside the cabin as the tachometer hovers. The lens zooms out past the side mirrors, captured into silhouettes framed in deep shadow. Sodium street lamps catch a 30-frame flicker across your jawline, pressed against the passenger glass. A wide-angle shot of the empty stretch of asphalt, reflecting wet yellow stripes under the high beams. No dialogue on the soundtrack for 3 long miles. Just low sub-bass vibration in the door panel. The camera pans to your hands folded tightly, knuckles catching the dim blue glow of the console. Every red signal we hit feels like a cut to black, holding the tension before the next scene starts. We drive through a widescreen night in slow motion. Every overhead sign a muted prop in the frame. The wiper sweeps an arc through pale gray mist, revealing the endless lane stretching out ahead. No dramatic climax, just static on the glass as the city pulls away in background bokeh. Focus pulls sharply to a drop of condensation, sliding down the corner of the side window. In the foreground, my fingers grip the steering leather, shadow stretching long as we cross the expansion joints. The real lens catches our crimson tail light shrinking, leaving twin red streaks in the lingering damper. You tilt your head slightly toward the dark horizon, a subtle motion that says more than a long script. The camera pans to your hands folded tightly, knuckles catching the dim blue glow of the console. Every red signal we hit feels like a cut to black, holding the tension before the next scene starts. We drive through a widescreen night in slow motion. Every overhead sign a muted prop in the frame. The wiper sweeps an arc through pale gray mist, revealing the endless lane stretching out ahead. No dramatic climax, just static on the glass as the city pulls away in background bokeh. Dissolve to a long shot of the suspension bridge. Steel cables bisecting the dark indigo sky. The engine hum replaces any final monologue, while the interior camera locks onto the road. We are just 2 characters in a long tracking shot, waiting for a line that neither of us wrote. Fade out on the orange hazard lights ahead. The frame freezes on the quiet dashboard. Red tail lights bleeding into the dark night, and credits rolling without a sound. Who decided that 28 feels like running out of road? The question hangs in the windshield, missed, unanswered, untranslated. I touched the climate control dial twice, turn it left, turn it right. My thumb remembers your old apartment code better than my own bank pin. Is that sad? A white delivery truck shifts gears 3 lanes over. I wonder if the driver thinks about leaving everything behind too. The brake lights turn the wet asphalt into red silk ribbons. I keep holding the wheel with my left hand at 9 o'clock. Thoughts collide like insects hitting the high beams. A text from my mother sits unread since 9 p.m. She asked if I ate dinner. I ate 2 cold dumplings over the kitchen sink while reading rent notices. Now the toll gate approaches like a blue neon gatekeeper. The GPS voice says recalculating for the 3rd time tonight. I just keep driving past the exits I was supposed to take. Maybe adulthood is just letting the meter run while you decide where to land. Speedometer reads 65, heart rate feels like 92. No destination program, just breathing in the ambient noise. Open the dark river out, washes out the clutter in my mind. My friend bought an apartment in Incheon last month. He talked about interest rates for 2 hours at the poker. I pretended to understand while counting the remaining ice cubes in my glass. When did we trade mixtape recommendations for mortgages? The bass in these doors speakers still vibrates the same way it did at 19, except now my lower back aches if I sit like this too long. Raindrops smear across the side window into long blurry strokes. Looks like watercolor paint on black canvas. Did I forget to turn off the bathroom light before I walked out? GPS voice says recalculating for the 3rd time tonight. I just keep driving past the exits I was supposed to take. Maybe adulthood is just letting the meter run while you decide where to land. Speedometer reads 65, heart rate feels like 92. No destination program, just breathing in the ambient noise. Open the dark river out, washes out the clutter in my mind. Passing an all-night convenience store glowing like a lonely space station. A guy in a padded jacket drinks hot canned coffee on a plastic chair. Is he escaping a quiet apartment or an empty relationship? Maybe both. I tap my fingers on the leather wrap of the wheel. 4 beats, 8 beats, 16 beats, losing rhythm. We spend our 20s trying to become somebody, and our 30s trying to remember who we were before the salary came. The wiper blades sweep once, twice. twice, clearing the fuel, nothing, still no answer to why I left my keys by the door and just drove. The toll plaza lights dim into the rear